I'm Ryan Milton and welcome back to Protein Power. This is the show I run for you. Every Monday we come right here and I tell you how you can take power over your own nutrition, alright? We talk about all kinds of myths, we dispel some kind of theories and talk about some real deal stuff that you need to know if you want to get where you want to be with your results, no matter who you are or what you're doing. Please make sure you do me a favor when you get something out of this video today. Share it first, then subscribe it, give me a thumbs up, drop me a comment, let me know what you think and what you want to know more about. And just remember, when you subscribe to the channel, you're not just subscribing for Protein Power. This is one of 5 awesome shows that I run literally all week for you to help you get results faster, okay? It's all free, it's all value add, that's why I do it, so please subscribe, please share. Thank you for watching. Alright, we're going to dive right in today on Protein Power to talk about refeeds, okay? A lot of people have been asking me recently about refeeds. They want to know what it is, they want to know how it works, and they want to know if it's something that you need, if it's something you should have. If you watching this video now, if you need to incorporate refeeds into your diet. So let's dive right on in first and talk about what a refeed actually is. During periods of dieting, now no matter what your goal is, if you could be a competitor trying to diet down for stage, you could be someone trying to lose weight, you could be someone trying to burn fat and just look aesthetic, you're in a caloric deficit, okay? So your calories are lower, we have our maintenance, we have our deficit. You have been dieting for a while, you've been doing it for a lengthy period of time. You know, some people do, a lot of competitors do 12, 16, 20 weeks of a diet to get ready for a show. A lot of weight loss people that are, you know, severely overweight, they're obese even, have to diet for a very long time to get to a healthy body weight. People that are overweight in general, depending on how well you can stick to your diet, do whatever, or if you're just trying to look better, you might be doing a diet for a long period of time. Now what happens when you're doing this is that your metabolism slows down as you go, okay? We know this from science, we know this from research, that as you are dieting for a long period of time, your metabolic rate literally will start to slow down because your body is basically constantly getting a signal that there is not an abundance of calories around you. There's not an abundance of food. And even though you might have a fridge, you might be able to go down to a restaurant, you always got access to a food store, whatever, your primitive brain, the mechanism inside you that dictates how your body functions says, well, for the past 12 weeks, we've been eating less than we need to maintain our body weight. We've been burning fat constantly, and so with that comes the slowing of a metabolic rate, okay? And so your metabolism slows down. It's a survival tool to literally prevent you from dying, right? Because if your body, in a primitive state of the world, if you were airdropped in the middle of the jungle and I left you there for 12 weeks, and your body's constantly getting the signal that, okay, calories are low, calories are low, calories are low, we don't know where we're at, we don't know what's happening, this part of your brain says, okay, we'll store body fat longer because we'll stay alive longer. And so that leads to the slowing of your metabolism, but then leads to the fact that, hey, it might be harder for you to burn that body fat. It might be harder for you to get stage lean in the last little bit of your prep. It might be you've been trying to lose weight for so long your body just stopped. It plateaued. And it might even be that now you got this little stubborn bit of fat that you are so close to finishing off, but it just won't go. And that is because of the metabolic rate slowing down and the process of basically just being in a diet for so long. So, you've been dieting for a long period of time, metabolic rate has slowed down, and keep in mind, this doesn't happen to everybody at the same rate. I mean, this is going to happen differently depending on people's hormone profiles, their age, their weight, their actual body composition, their training profile. There's a lot of things that come into it, so you just got to understand that you got to pay attention to the markers. It's one reason it's really good to have a good qualified coach in your corner, because they can notice when these types of things are going down. They can notice when, okay, you've stalled out for a little bit, this is happening here, we're seeing this in your lifts, we're seeing that on your nutrition. If you want help, go to TeamFFLEX.com right now, subscribe to the trial, we'll help you out. But basically, you got to be paying attention to these markers. You got to see, okay, well, you're dropping down, but now things are slowing down. Things are going here. And again, it can be very confusing because at the same time, it's also the process of burning fat, losing weight, getting contest ready. It's never going to be a linear path down, right? It's never going to be linear. It's going to be all up and down, all around. But what will be something is that if you continually are not hitting the mark, if you're continually getting closer and closer, but then you just stop or you start reversing, you can expect that, okay, it could be the metabolism, all right? And as a coach, I would look at a number of different markers. I'm looking at a lot of things, checking in with my athletes, checking in with my clients, seeing what's going on, asking how they're feeling, looking at their stats in the gym, looking at their calories tracked, looking at their progress photos, their body stats, their measurements, all that to determine, okay, is it time for the iconic refeed, all right? And now what a refeed is, I kind of spent like 5 minutes talking about what leads you to needing one, and a refeed is exactly what it sounds like. A refeed is going to be an increase in calories, and usually in specific macronutrients, especially if you have a good qualified coach, it will be in specific macronutrients. It's not just going to be like a cheat day, it's going to be specific refeeding of macros to boost your metabolism back up. And basically what happens is you introduce these new macros into the diet for basically a day or a meal, or it all depends on the person, but it's never going to be for a week or anything crazy like that. That would be something like a diet break, which is not what we're talking about. A refeed would basically be an increase of calories and macronutrients specified by your coach, or for some other reason. If you're doing it yourself, you know why you're doing it, I would hope. And basically what happens is you increase it for that day or for that meal or for both. And what happens is now your body's getting a signal above the caloric deficit that you've been in, right? Because the idea is that now you're raising your calories back up, and since we're going to choose specific macronutrients that maybe you're low in, then guess what? Now your metabolism goes, whoa, we just got a spike in food. We just got more carbs than we're used to. We just got more fats than we're used to. More calories. Well, guess what? That means add fuel to the engine now. Add fuel to that slowed down metabolism. Let it rev back up, because we're trying to burn this food off and we want to use this for energy. So what happens is your body jacks its metabolism, its metabolic rate back up, and now what happens is you have the effects of that refeed helping you go further into the actual diet. Like I said, it's just a meal or it's just a day. If you do this correctly, if you do this the way I would suggest, then you're going to now return to your macros tomorrow. You're going to return back to the same diet you've been doing, returning back to what you're supposed to be doing, in other words, not refeeding every day, which is a problem a lot of people do run into when they try to do this on their own. They get caught in the trap of, oh, I felt really good yesterday, well, I want to have more today. Or maybe they ate too much. They had too many carbs, and now they're having carb cravings, withdrawal cravings, all these different things, right? That comes in all the time. I'm getting off topic with it. Point is, the refeed happens for a day. It happens for that meal, and then you move forward with your diet. And now what happens is you basically revved up your metabolism. That's going to carry with you now. That's going to actually go from that day that you did the refeed on with you now for probably another week, 2 weeks, could be 3 weeks. It just depends, because basically you're boosting a ton of different hormone responses in your body. You're juicing up your metabolism. We're talking about all sorts of things taking place to now. That's going to go with you. So what happens is now, guess what? That caloric deficit, that diet, it starts to work even better, okay? It starts to kick up that fat loss even more. Now some of these stubborn areas you were stuck in are burning away, and you feel renewed. You have more energy for the gym. You're feeling better overall, retaining more muscle, and burning more body fat. Now keep in mind, that is if you did this correctly, okay? You have to do a refeed correctly. It's not just a gamble. I know, unfortunately, a lot of people hear what I just said and they get so excited. Their first thought is, okay, I'm going to go order a pizza. I'm going to go have a burrito. I'm going to get 10 burgers and eat them. Well, a refeed and a cheat meal are two totally different things. A cheat meal basically has not many actual physically good benefits for your body. It might have some mental ones if you're like beating yourself up, but that's almost, in my idea, some type of an eating disorder. Not the best way to go about that is to say, okay, I have to be strict and hate my life, and then I'm going to have a burger on the weekend, I'll feel better. That's a cheat meal, and that's not something I generally suggest to people as a practice at all. As you guys know, I'm a flexible dieting advocate. I'm a coach that promotes flexible dieting, and with that, we don't have cheat days. We don't have cheat meals. You fit small amounts of these foods that you might want that could be considered cheat foods into your daily caloric intake. However, you do not have a whole day where you eat 6,000 calories extra, you have a whole family-sized pizza to a family of one, and you sit there and then have to undo that basic mayhem of that binge eating for the next 5-6 weeks, okay? I suggest always that you make sure that you know the difference between a refeed and a cheat meal. A refeed is a calculated and structured increase in macronutrients and calories to thus produce a better result. A cheat meal is basically a shot in the dark, a gamble. Maybe you feel good from the dopamine boost you get in your brain when you eat the stuff, the little sugar high you get for 20 minutes, and then guess what? You're going to feel like shit for the next 5 weeks trying to take off any damage you did, okay? And a lot of people say, oh, you can't even do that. There's no damage that can be done in one cheat meal. That's not true, Coach. Right? Yes, it is. You can definitely, I tell you what, if I ordered 6 pizzas right now, stacked them on my desk, I could for sure eat those motherfuckers. And then guess what? I'd be taking the problem and have to do cardio, diet really hard, train hard for weeks and weeks and weeks to remove the caloric damage I did on that day, okay? A refeed is structured, it's calculated, and it has to be. I honestly would say that most of you watching this right now, even if you compete, even if you've been training for 10 years in the gym, even if you did all these other things, maybe you even have a few training certifications, most of you have no idea how to set up a refeed. And that's because this is a science that is not included in the textbooks. It's not included in the bro science meal plans you might have followed. It's not included in being the fact that you've been working out for 10, 15 years. A refeed is a very, very calculated and structured approach to increasing macros and calories to boost your metabolic rate, give you a better hormone response, and thus lead to better results, okay? So it is very important that it's done correctly. Otherwise, you can expect it basically not to work at all, and sometimes it's going to have adverse effects. You might actually do a refeed and gain more fat if you do it incorrectly. Refeed is important for helping you continue on your diet, right? It's helping you get better results, boost your metabolism, get your hormones back up where they need to be. Whatever's going on with your body, a refeed can be beneficial. But how do you actually know if you need it, right? And this is the kind of trickery here. A lot of you are listening thinking, wow, I want a refeed. I probably want one. I've been dieting for 12 weeks. I've been in my prep for 16. I've been on a fat loss diet for almost a year, Coach, right? Because I was obese. Well, guess what? The markers of you needing a refeed or not are going to be pretty much a skewed form. Like, I can't just tell you straight up, yeah, you need one or you don't. You have to know based on what's been going on with your body, okay? And I will tell you straight up right now, most of you out there do not need one. Most people do not need a refeed. I'll tell you the type of person that probably could need one, but don't just take what I say right now and run with it and think, oh, that was me, it sounded like me, it was close enough to me, I'm going to have one. Don't do that. You could be setting yourself up for failure. What you should honestly do if you want to know if you need a refeed is go to my website, TeamFFLEX.com, subscribe to the free trial. It's totally free. And when you get on the other side, you get in our coaching app, talk to me or one of my coaches, and we can help you figure out if a refeed will be beneficial to you, okay? We do this for free. You don't have to put your card in, nothing weird like that. We're not charging you a dime. Free expertise from world-class coaches. If you want it, TeamFFLEX.com right now. When it comes to actually figuring this out though, here's somebody that could actually need one, okay? If we take, let's say, a bikini competitor, okay? These people, bodybuilders, anybody who's doing these divisions where you have to be leaner than what is normal in society, okay? Like, I'm talking about the fact, okay, there's girls that might want to look good in a bikini and go to the beach, and then there's bikini competitors. It's a two totally different thing. You cannot take a girl that wants to look good in a bikini on the beach and put her on a bikini competition stage and she would do well, because it's a totally different thing. And there might be all the gym bros out there that want to get abs in the gym and whatever, and they would not be able to go to a bodybuilding show and win the show because it's a totally different thing. So when we look at bodybuilders, bikini competitors, women's physique, wellness, men's physique, classic physique, all these different bodybuilding divisions, we're talking about people that have to take their body fat and their conditioning and their body to a level that is unnaturally superhuman in a lot of ways. It's not a natural thing. It takes a lot of specific training, a lot of specific dieting. And these types of people, when they get into a spot where, let's say, a bodybuilder is very, very lean, we're talking about 5, 6, 7, 8% body fat, and they're going to do a slew of 2 or 3 shows in a 3-month span of time. They've dieted down, they got ready for their first one, and they're ready to go to stage, they do good, whatever. Now they have a gap of time before their next one, and a gap of time before their next one. Well, the fact that they dieted so hard and they came all the way to the show and they are super, super lean, at this point, their body is in the furthest modes of starvation mode, right? They're in the furthest point of like, hey, we need to slow down the metabolism. We need to really stop this. Like, we need to drop this down and try to sustain this because we don't know what's going on. We're getting little calories. We're doing lots of cardio. We're training very hard, and we need to slow this down. And so the metabolic rate and all that slows down. And what can happen to a lot of people that compete is if they get lean enough, this happens to bikini competitors too as well, if they get lean enough, they start to actually burn muscle off. So you start to lose muscle because basically your body doesn't want to carry muscle. It's not a very good thing to carry in a survival mechanism, right? Yeah, of course you got to be strong. Of course you would need basic function, but do you need extra big delts? Do you need extra big glutes? Do you need all these other muscles? No. So your body goes actually catabolic. You start to burn off these muscles. You start to hold on to more fat because it wants that energy store, and now you find yourself going into competition after competition, even though you might have done great for your first one, actually worse, and actually getting worse, and actually losing muscle and gaining body fat. And so a refeed could be good for someone at that point, right? Some bikini competitor that was stage lean and she had to sustain her physique to do several shows, or a bodybuilder that was stage lean and had to sustain their physique to do several shows. We're talking about people within a week or two of their competition, and ones that would have won, not ones that step on stage and they're actually carrying too much fat or whatever. You probably didn't need a damn refeed if you showed up with too much body fat on stage. What you actually needed to do was probably do your diet better, do your training better, do your cardio better. But if you actually are in a spot where this is a good thing for you, you're in a very lean condition and you need to maintain your muscle and potentially kick up a little extra fat burn because you don't want to stave off basically the gaining of it since you're so low, well, a refeed could be good for you, okay? And where does a refeed apply to an everyday normal person's life? I just gave you the analogy of bodybuilders, but what about the average everyday lifestyle client, the person in the gym, the girl that does want to just look good on the bikini on the beach, the guy in the gym that's really trying to lose 10 pounds so he can fit better in his clothes, whatever. The point is, a lot of times you don't need it. A lot of times following a very normal diet and following a very normal training program, following a balanced macronutrient split where you're getting proteins, carbs, fats, and fibers in the right amounts, even though it's in a deficit, and where you're training normally, kind of casual training, if you will. In the gym, you might be doing a little cardio, you're doing a little bit of weights, but you're not a bodybuilder, you're not a bikini competitor spending hours doing all that. Well, you probably don't need it. Your body is probably well enough processing everything and well enough balancing itself out that you're actually not going to slow your metabolism that dramatically. Now, if you've been dieting for a very, very long period of time, and you literally haven't gone off your diet once, you haven't broken your macros once, you haven't overate once, you haven't had a cheat meal once, and you've been religiously in the gym banging on the weights, increasing every day, and doing all this cardio and other stuff, sure, you might need a refeed. But I'll tell you straight up, most of you probably don't need it, and the ones that do need it would honestly have a very hard time figuring out if they needed it. And that's why I suggest that you have a coach. Somebody can test the marker. Someone can see. Because literally, when I'm coaching, when I'm working with competitors, when I'm working with lifestyle clients, and I see someone that needs a refeed, I can tell you straight away. I can tell based on check-ins at this point in my career. Looking at progress pictures and measurements and how their performance in the gym was and their actual mentality when I talk to them, when I message them and say, hey, how's it going? Their response. I can tell when people need a refeed. And that's from years and years and coaching thousands and thousands of people, and that's unfortunately something 99% of you don't have experience with, right? You might have yourself, you might know, oh, I'm a little cranky, I might feel like I'm not doing his best, but that could be for any number of reasons. You could have been pissed off at something at work, you could have had a hard day at the gym, you could have had any of these things happen that could make you think you need one, but in reality, the worst thing you could do in that situation is have one, because again, if you do it incorrectly, it will set you up for negative side effects. It's going to push you the wrong way, not the right way, not where you want to go, not to get leaner, not to feel better, not to perform better. It's going to actually set you up for failure. All right, so that's a refeed. That's kind of the overview. That's how it works. Again, if you really want help with this, I strongly suggest go to TeamFFLEX.com right now, and there's a pop-up. Put your email in there. It's going to invite you to our free trial. 7 days to try out the TeamFFLEX coaching, where you're actually talking to us, and we'll help you. We'll work with you, and based on what I just said in this video, we'll help you determine if you need a refeed or anything else you need. We can do it right there. And again, it's totally free. If you watch the video this far and you listen to everything I said and you don't do this, you're not serious about knowing if it's true something you need or if you want to get better results or your goals in general, because in reality, getting world-class expert advice from people that do this for a living is something that you can't honestly say it won't be beneficial to you. It will. It's going to change the game for you. So go over to my website right now, TeamFFLEX.com, subscribe to the free trial. Me or one of my coaches will set you up. We'll talk with you. We'll help you figure out whatever's going on, and if you do need a refeed. Thank you for watching Protein Power. Please make sure you share it. Please make sure you subscribe it, and I'll be back tomorrow for the Iron Palace where we're talking all about your training. Thanks for watching. Coach Rye is out.